The door to hell, also known as the Darvaza Gas Crater, is a geological phenomenon located in Turkmenistan that has fascinated scientists, geologists, and travelers alike for decades.
What if I told you that somewhere on Earth there's a massive burning pit of fire that's been continuously aflame for over 50 years? A place so hellish that locals call it the door to hell, where temperatures reach a scorching 400 degrees Celsius and flames dance eternally against the desert night sky. While it might sound like something from a fantasy novel or religious text, this gateway to the underworld is very real, and its story is even more fascinating than its appearance suggests.
I'm almost directly above the most violently burning pit.
Deep in the heart of Turkmenistan's Karakum desert lies the Darvaza Gas Crater, a scientific accident turned geological wonder that has captured the imagination of explorers and researchers worldwide. But what exactly created this perpetually burning crater? And what disturbing secrets has it revealed about our planet? The story begins in 1971 when Soviet geologists ventured into the vast Karakum desert searching for natural gas deposits. Turkmenistan sits atop some of the world's largest natural gas reserves, ranking 4th globally in gas deposits. The Soviet Union, eager to exploit these resources, sent teams of scientists to survey and drill throughout the region. But what happened next would create one of the most spectacular man-made disasters in history. As the Soviet team began drilling, they encountered something unexpected. The ground beneath their drilling rig was hiding a massive underground cavern filled with natural gas. Before they could react, the weight of their equipment proved too much for the hollow ground beneath. The earth collapsed, taking their entire drilling rig with it and creating a massive crater 70 meters wide and 30 meters deep. Fortunately, no lives were lost in the initial collapse, but the scientists quickly realized they had an environmental disaster on their hands. The crater was now releasing enormous amounts of methane gas into the atmosphere. Methane, while not toxic, is both an asphyxiant and highly flammable. In high concentrations, it can displace oxygen from the air, making it impossible to breathe. More worryingly, with just a 5% concentration in the air, it creates perfect conditions for a massive explosion. The scientists faced a difficult decision. Leaving the crater as it was would create an ongoing environmental hazard and pose a serious threat to any nearby settlements or wildlife. The methane could potentially trigger a series of devastating explosions or create deadly oxygen-depleted zones in the surrounding area. Their solution? Set it on fire. The logic behind this decision wasn't as crazy as it might sound. Flaring or deliberately burning off excess natural gas is a common practice in the oil and gas industry. The scientists believed that by igniting the gas, they could prevent its dangerous accumulation in the atmosphere and burn off the deposit in a matter of weeks. They were wrong. Very wrong. After tossing a grenade into the crater to ignite the gas, something unexpected happened. Instead of burning out after a few weeks as predicted, the fire continued to burn and burn and burn. Today, more than 50 years later, the flames still rage on with no signs of stopping, creating one of the most spectacular and unnerving sights on Earth. But what makes this site truly fascinating isn't just its appearance or longevity. The Darvaza Gas Crater has revealed some truly disturbing yet fascinating insights about life on Earth and potentially beyond our planet.
Go!
My weight is on the line. I am out over top.
On a quest to discover the secrets of alien life that may lurk in the belly of a burning, roaring crater, George Karunas is about to attempt something no man's ever done before.
Feeling comfortable?
Roger that. You're looking good. How do you feel?
Feeling good? Looking pretty amazing? Wow. Amazing.
When you're dangling in the middle, you just feel like a piece of laundry on the line, drying out.
For his descent to the bottom, George needs to lock in on a potential landing zone.
I'm almost directly above the most violently burning pit.
The ideal position must be free of life-threatening gases and extreme temperatures.
This spot looks pretty good for the descent, but I don't know how strong the crater floor is. I guess we'll find out.
Copy that.
Dr. Green, what's my temperature here?
We've got 32 degrees.
32 degrees? I fart warmer than that. My body temperature's 37.
That's crazy.
I can feel like a wind tunnel or a downdraft blowing straight down over my location. That must be what's keeping the temperature low.
It's not that hot.
My gas alarm's not going off here. The air quality must be good here above the crater. I don't know about down below, though.
Roger that. Copy that.
I was looking down, I was looking around, and it looked like a doorway to hell. You realize that if something were to go wrong and fall, you're dead from the fall.
In 2013, National Geographic explorer George Karounis became the first person to reach the bottom of the crater. Wearing a heat-resistant suit that made him look more like an astronaut than a terrestrial explorer, Karounis descended into what he described as a coliseum of fire. His mission wasn't just for the thrill of it. He was searching for signs of life. What he discovered was extraordinary. Despite the extreme conditions, temperatures hot enough to melt aluminum and a constant inferno of burning gas, Karounis found bacteria thriving at the crater's bottom. These extremophiles, organisms that can survive in conditions that would kill most living things, were not just surviving, but flourishing in one of the most hostile environments on Earth. This discovery has profound implications for our search for life beyond Earth. If bacteria can survive in the literal door to hell, it suggests that life might exist in similarly extreme environments on other planets. Mars, with its harsh conditions and evidence of ancient hydrothermal activity, suddenly seems a more promising candidate for harboring life. The crater's story takes an even more intriguing turn when we look at its political impact on modern Turkmenistan. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union, the newly independent nation found itself with a unique landmark that it wasn't quite sure how to handle. The first president of Turkmenistan, Sapar Murat Niyazov, actually ordered the nearby village of Darvaza to be demolished and its residents relocated, simply because he didn't want to see the settlement when flying over the area. His successor, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow, initially ordered the crater to be filled in and extinguished in 2010. However, the technical challenges and enormous cost of such an operation, combined with the crater's growing fame as a tourist attraction, led to a change of heart. Today, while Turkmenistan remains one of the world's most isolated and secretive countries, the Darvaza Gas Crater has become its most famous landmark, drawing adventurous tourists from around the globe. The environmental impact of the crater is another disturbing aspect of its existence. While the continuous burning of natural gas releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming, scientists argue that this might actually be preferable to the alternative. If the crater were extinguished, it would resume releasing methane, which is approximately 28 times more potent as a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide over a 100-year period. The site has also become an unexpected laboratory for studying geological processes and gas field behavior. The continuous burning has created unique mineral formations around the crater's rim, and the way the fire has sustained itself for so long has provided valuable insights into natural gas deposit behavior and underground cavity formations. Visiting the crater is an otherworldly experience. As you approach across the desert, the first thing you notice is the heat. Even from hundreds of meters away, you can feel the warmth radiating from the pit. At night, the crater's glow can be seen from miles away, creating an eerie beacon in the desert darkness. The sound of the burning gas creates a constant roar, like a jet engine eternally running in the earth. The rim of the crater is particularly treacherous. The ground is unstable, and the intense heat has created numerous smaller sinkholes in the surrounding area. Some of these have filled with water or boiling mud, creating their own miniature versions of hell. Visitors must stay well back from the edge, as the ground could potentially collapse at any time. Perhaps most disturbing is the fact that we still don't fully understand how the crater continues to burn. The original gas pocket should have been depleted long ago, yet the flames show no signs of weakening. This suggests the presence of much larger gas deposits feeding the fire, or perhaps some unique geological formation that continues to channel new gas into the crater. The Darvaza Gas Crater also serves as a stark reminder of humanity's impact on the natural world. What began as a simple geological survey has created a permanent scar on the landscape, one that continues to burn through vast quantities of natural gas while releasing greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. It stands as a testament to both human ingenuity in solving immediate problems and our capacity to create long-lasting environmental changes we never intended. Looking to the future, the fate of the door to hell remains uncertain, while current Turkmenistan authorities seem content to maintain it as a tourist attraction. The ongoing environmental impact and safety concerns mean that future administrations might again consider attempts to extinguish it. However, any such effort would require significant technical expertise and financial resources, not to mention a solution for handling the methane that would once again begin seeping from the ground. Scientists continue to study the crater, hoping to learn more about extreme environments and the organisms that can survive in them. Each new discovery provides valuable insights into the resilience of life and the potential for finding organisms in places we once thought impossible. The bacteria found in the crater have already led to new research into heat-resistant enzymes and potential applications in industrial processes. The Darvaza Gas Crater stands as one of the most spectacular examples of unintended consequences in human history. What began as a simple accident has become a permanent feature of our planet's landscape, a continuous fire that has burned longer than many nations have existed. It serves as both a warning about the potential consequences of our resource extraction activities and a testament to the incredible adaptability of life on Earth. As night falls over the Karakum desert, the door to hell continues its eternal burn, its flames dancing against the dark sky, reminding us that sometimes our most dramatic impacts on the world come not from what we plan, but from what we never intended. This accidental gateway to the underworld remains one of Earth's most fascinating and disturbing landmarks, a place where human error, geological forces, and extreme life forms come together in a spectacle that must be seen to be believed. The next time someone asks you if hell is real, you can tell them that while the theological version might be up for debate, there's a very real door to hell burning in the deserts of Turkmenistan. And unlike its mythological counterpart, this one was created not by divine intervention, but by human hands, a lasting reminder of our capacity to dramatically and permanently alter our world in ways we never anticipated.
Well, this weekend, Pope Francis travels to Fatima, Portugal, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of a mysterious apparition that appeared there to three village children. And the children believe the apparition to be the Virgin Mary, the mother of Jesus.
Something extraordinary has just happened that could change the course of history as we know it. In 1917, in a small town called Fatima in Portugal, three young shepherd children had an experience that would captivate the world for over a century. They claimed to have visions of the Virgin Mary, who entrusted them with three secrets about the future of humanity and the Church. Now, it seems the third and most mysterious of these secrets might be disclosing before our very eyes, leaving everyone shocked and searching for answers. 1917 was a time when the world was engulfed in the chaos of World War I. People were desperate for hope, for some sign that peace would return. It was in this context that something remarkable occurred in Fatima. Three children, Lucia dos Santos, age 10, and her cousins Francisco and Jacinta Marto, age 9 and 7 respectively, were tending to their sheep in a place called Cova da Iria. Suddenly, they saw a bright light, which they described as brighter than the sun. They said it was the Virgin Mary appearing to them with messages from heaven. These weren't just any children, they were simple shepherd kids from a rural area, not the kind of people you'd expect to receive world-changing visions. But over the next few months, they said Mary appeared to them 6 times, sharing important messages and 3 significant secrets. The apparitions of Fatima, as they came to be known, had a central message that was quite simple: pray, especially the Rosary, and turn back to God. The Virgin Mary, according to the children, warned that if people didn't change their ways, there would be terrible consequences. But she also promised that in the end, her Immaculate Heart would triumph, offering a message of hope amidst the warnings. Now let's discuss those 3 secrets a bit, because they're at the heart of our story and the reason why recent events have left so many people shocked. The first secret was a terrifying vision of hell. The children described seeing a sea of fire underground, full of demons and the souls of sinners. This vision was so horrifying that it deeply affected the children, especially young Jacinta. The purpose of this vision, as understood by many, was to illustrate the severity of sin and to encourage people to live more virtuous lives. The second secret was more focused on world events. In this secret, Mary predicted that World War I would end soon, but warned that an even worse war would come if people didn't change their ways. This part of the secret seemed to predict World War II, which indeed turned out to be even more devastating than the First World War. But there was more to this secret. It also talked about Russia, saying it would spread its errors throughout the world unless it was consecrated to Mary's Immaculate Heart. Many interpret this as a prediction of the rise and spread of communism from Russia. But it's the third secret that's got everyone talking now. For decades, this secret was kept hidden, shrouded in mystery. The Vatican didn't reveal it until the year 2000, and even then, many people believe we didn't get the whole story. According to the official version released by the Vatican, the third secret showed a vision of a bishop dressed in white, understood to be the Pope, being killed by soldiers. Many people connected this to the assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II in 1981, which occurred on May 13th, the anniversary of the first Fatima apparition. A significant number of people, including some Catholic scholars and even some high-ranking church officials, believe there's more to the third secret than what was revealed. Some say it predicts a great apostasy in the church, a massive falling away from the faith. Others think it talks about the end times or major disasters coming to the world. Some even speculate that it contains warnings about changes or corruptions within the church itself. The Vatican has consistently maintained that they've disclosed everything. Cardinal Tarcisio Bertone, a high-ranking church official, even wrote a book titled The Last Secret of Fatima, insisting there's no hidden part of the secret. He stated that Sister Lucia, the last surviving visionary who died in 2005, confirmed that everything has been revealed. However, these assurances haven't put the debates and theories to rest.
The Catholic Church was actually quite hesitant to believe the children. Why? And then, why did the Church eventually affirm it as a miracle?
Yeah, and that's a very important point. I mean, there are claims of Marian apparitions all the time. I mean, there have been quite literally hundreds of them in the 20th century alone. But the Church is incredibly careful about this. And Cardinal Bertone, who was the Vatican Secretary of State under John Paul II, who was one of the people who took some of the greatest lengths and steps to approve this, said, you got to understand, Fatima has been microscopically scrutinized. He said, of all the claims, this is the one that has been taken the most seriously, looked at the most thoroughly, and I think it comes down to, among other things, they had so many witnesses, and in addition to that, I mean, two of the three shepherd children, Jacinta and Francisco, died very early, I think within 2 or 3 years of the original apparitions, but Lucia lived until February 2005. She was, I believe, 97 years old when she died, and she became a nun at a convent in Portugal, and they were in constant communication with her until the very end of her life, and all along she was saying, yes, this has happened, no, that hasn't happened, yes, this has been fulfilled. So they were able to check out her claims literally over about a 90-year period.
Critics point out several discrepancies that fuel their skepticism. For instance, they argue that the published secret doesn't match earlier descriptions of it. Some say it's suspiciously short, given how long it was kept secret. Others argue that the language doesn't sound like how Mary spoke in the other secrets. These doubts have kept the mystery of Fatima alive for decades, spawning countless books, articles, and discussions. Many believers are convinced that the events of the third secret are just starting now, in our time. They point to various global events and trends as evidence that the Fatima prophecies are coming true. Look at the global conflicts and tensions we're seeing. Wars in various parts of the world, increasing political divisions, economic uncertainties. Some say these match the bishop in white vision of a world in chaos. The vision described the Pope walking through a half-ruined city, passing by corpses. Some interpret this symbolically as the church navigating through a world damaged by sin and conflict. Then there are the challenges within the Catholic Church itself. Debates over doctrine, scandals that have rocked the church, and declining attendance in some areas have some believers worried about that apostasy idea mentioned earlier. They see these as signs of the errors spreading, as warned in the second secret. Even nature seems to be acting up. Earthquakes, extreme weather events, and the recent global pandemic. Some see these as signs that the Fatima prophecies are coming true. While we can't point to one specific event that proves the third secret is happening, all these things together have a lot of people convinced that we're living in the times Our Lady of Fatima warned about. But why now? What's changed to make people think the third secret is just beginning? Well, some religious scholars and visionaries claim they've received new insights or messages confirming that we've entered a critical period. They see parallels between current events and the symbolic language of the Fatima visions. For example, the idea of the Pope being attacked could be seen as symbolic of the Church facing criticism and challenges from the modern world. The vision of martyrs could represent Christians facing persecution in various parts of the world. And the angel with the flaming sword mentioned in the vision? Some interpret that as a warning of divine judgment on a world that's turned away from God. It's important to note that the official stance of the Catholic Church hasn't changed. The Vatican maintains that the full third secret was revealed in 2000 and that it primarily referred to events of the 20th century, particularly the persecution of Christians under communist regimes. However, recent popes have made statements that some interpret as hinting that Fatima's message might not be entirely in the past. Pope Benedict XVI said in 2010 that we'd be mistaken to think Fatima's prophetic mission is complete, and Pope Francis has shown a strong devotion to Our Lady of Fatima, even consecrating Russia and Ukraine to Mary's Immaculate Heart in 2022 during the conflict between those nations. Church leaders continue to emphasize the core message of Fatima, the need for prayer, repentance, and turning back to God. They see these spiritual practices as the real point of the apparitions, more important than trying to decode specific predictions about future events. The public reaction to all this has been intense. Interest in Fatima is booming. Pilgrimages to the shrine in Portugal have increased, with people seeking answers or spiritual comfort in uncertain times. The messages and secrets are being discussed not just in church circles, but on social media, in books, and yes, even in YouTube videos like this one. Some people find hope in the Fatima messages, seeing them as a promise that good will ultimately triumph over evil. Others are frightened, worried that we're heading for tough times. And of course, there are skeptics who think it's all been blown out of proportion. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Fatima story is the miracle of the sun. On October 13, 1917, a crowd of around 70,000 people gathered in Fatima because the children had predicted that a miracle would occur on that day. Many in the crowd reported seeing the sun dance or spin in the sky, change colors, and even appear to plummet towards the earth before returning to its normal position. This event, witnessed by believers and skeptics alike, added credibility to the children's claims and has been a subject of discussion and debate ever since.
Well, it's an amazing thing, truly. I mean, some people consider it literally miraculous. And by the way, thank you for covering this, because right now, the 100th anniversary of it, you have literally countless people from all over the world, many of them in America, descending on this tiny little village in Portugal, and the entirety of the Western media or American media is ignoring it. But they're going there because they believe that from May 13th, 1917 to October 13th, 1917, this would be a period of about 6 consecutive months, that the literal mother of Jesus, Mary, appeared to these 3 shepherd children in Portugal. And at the end of it, I mean, there were a number of dramatic appearances, so May 13th, 1917 would have been the first. But July 13th, 1917 was one of the more major alleged apparitions where she divulged the 3 secrets, was said to have given the children a vision of hell. And then the most dramatic of all was October 13th, 1917, when it was claimed, and this is an actual miracle proved and investigated by the Roman Catholic Church, something occurred called the miracle of the sun, where those who were there, and upwards of 70,000 people, including many secular people, many skeptics, claimed that they saw the sun spin, dance, do something very supernatural. And that was the final of the apparitions.
Whether prophecy or parable, the legacy of Fatima continues to inspire millions to hope for a better world and to actively work towards making that hope a reality.